There are a million different ways to practice magic, and they exist around the world. The way that we practice magic is a little more raw and a little more experiential, a lot less philosophical.
One of the things that we love to talk about is magic as a whole, whether that is hoodoo, conjure, the voodoo, palo, witchcraft. That's what we talk about.
Join us as we explore these different paths at 7 o'clock Central Time and 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Crescent City Conjure, Magic in the Raw.
Hello. Good evening, folks.
How you doing? This Hoodoo Said Moise here with Crescent City Conjure. I'm here with the love of my life, Saint Elias.
That's me.
And we're coming to you tonight from PBN Radio. This is the first show that we're doing on PBN, and we're absolutely excited to be here. We want to say thank you to everybody who listens to the show, to everybody who listens to the things that we have to say, and hopefully we can give you some things that are edifying.
Yes, indeed. My name is Saint Elias, and I'm here with the love of my life, Hoodoo Said Moise. We're here to talk to you about magic. That's right. We're here to talk to you about magic. So for those people who don't know what magic is and don't have any parameters about what it is, there are a few people who give very succinct ideas about what it is. One person says that magic is creating change in conformity with will. That means making the things that you want happen.
If you were to ask me what the definition of magic is, what I would say is that magic is the changing of a reality around you, or facilitating change through supernatural forces to create whatever reality it is that is needed at the time.
Some people think of it as supernatural, and of course, if you don't practice it, yes, that would probably be your point of view of it being something supernatural. But to the worker, to the people who call themselves witches, conjurmen, magicians, people who believe in this power and use it to their benefit, we think of it as a natural thing. We think of it as a science and the art. We think of ideas like animism. Everything has a spirit. Everything has a certain level of intelligence. And through a relationship with those things, you could work together to cause lasting and true change.
And we're going to get into all that. We're going to be here every Wednesday night. But for the first show, one of the things that we wanted to do with everybody is just to tell you a little bit about who we are and, what we do. Again, we both make up Crescent City Conjure, which is an amazing experience, an amazing thing that we do to facilitate change. But so I'd like to say, Saint Elias, would you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Hi, I'm Saint Elias. And, well, let's start off with the initiations first, because some people think that that's the most important thing. And for those who have a context and move within these circles, that's just something that's really easy to recognize. So I'm initiated into Alexandrian witchcraft. That was my first. I love the history of the Alexandrian tradition and how Alexander's carried himself. The practice in itself is just, you could just go as deep as you want into it. It is considered a Wiccan path, but once you get to a certain level of it, you kind of drop the Wiccan sentiments and you become more what I would call witchcraft, which is a lot less PC, a lot less white lighter, a lot less and you harm none, a lot less karma-based, and a lot more what I like to call nature-based. Nature creates and destroys to maintain balance, and so do we. I was recently initiated into Palo Moyombe, and it is another one of my passions, and it expresses a different part of my practice. Since I was 12, 13, I began studying this, and I think it's really important to begin studying before you practice. And so that's exactly what I did. I began studying when I was relatively young and then slowly put it into practice. And now I'm here talking to you about it. So my goal in this life is to try to understand the hidden mechanisms behind things and how things work in the spiritual world and how to communicate with my ancestors and the spirits that work with me and around me, and understand how things that I might not initially believe have an intelligence to have a spirit to work with, how their spirits express themselves, and building a deeper relationship with the energies and the spirits that. You want to tell them a little bit about yourself, Hoodoo Sin Moise?
Sure. So I was raised in Southern Conjure, in Hoodoo, whatever you prefer to call it, because there are several synonyms. Where I come from, they just called it work. I was also raised to always honor those that came before me, honoring your ancestors, having a relationship with your ancestors. Because the thing about it is that just because they don't have a body anymore doesn't mean that they don't have a voice. When it comes down to it, the ancestors are one of, if not the most important thing that any of us, in no matter what the path is that you do, can ever do. Your ancestors are the foundation on which you stand. Your ancestors are those, that have come before you, and that, they have, bled, sweat, tears. They have, blazed the trail for you to be able to stand where you are, and for you to take that torch and to continue to blaze that trail and to move forward in who you're supposed to be, in what potentials that you have. So the ancestors are very, very important. So I was raised in that, which is, one of the foundation stones of Conjure. It absolutely is. And again, it's a foundation stone of everything else. I am also Ugan Asogwe, a high priest in Haitian Voodoo. And I'm also a Padre Nganga, or high priest, in Palo Mayombe. Both of those paths are absolutely phenomenal. When it comes to getting down and working magic, that's what we do. And the thing about it is that all three of those things, that the conjure, the voodoo, and the Apollo, they're all cousins. You see, they all have originations from the same areas. Like a hoodoo conjure has a strong foundational root in the Congo. Haitian voodoo has a strong root it comes from Benin, well, one of the nations of Benin. And then, of course, Palo Mayombe comes from the Congo as well. They're all cousins. And one of the things that I can tell you about all of those things is that they are absolutely very practical. They are things that have a lot to do with getting your hands in working. When it comes to magic work, to spiritual work, it's getting your hands in there and doing those things that need to be done to facilitate whatever the change might be. They're also very big on honoring the ancestors and honoring those that came before you, because never forget this, that your ancestors are the biggest allies that you will ever have. Your ancestors are the ones that are always going to bat for you. Your ancestors are the ones who are always, trying to do everything that they can to propel you forward. The ancestors are the ones who you go to whenever. They should be the first ones that you're always going to. And you'll hear me all the time harping on the ancestors, because it is absolutely that important. I don't care what magical practice that you do. It doesn't matter. They are the foundation of all that, because remember this, before you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye, your ancestors were already doing this work in some form or another.
Absolutely. And when we talk about ancestors, we're not just talking about your ancestors of the blood. We're also talking about ancestors of lineage, and in witchcraft especially, the British traditional paths, Alexandrian lineage is extremely important. Your ancestors of your lineage or of initiation are extremely important too, because those are the ones who have practiced exactly what you're doing before you. And you can call on them for guidance and wisdom also. But yes, I do believe that all things should start off with your ancestors, no matter what category of ancestors you're talking about. We've had someone recently who was talking to us about them losing their family pet, and they were asking if the pet was considered an ancestor. Absolutely. Ancestors doesn't just mean by blood. Ancestors mean, your family, the people who are around you, who love you, who you love, and the ones that are going to work for you even on the other side. And those are the people that you call, those are the spirits that you call who are going to uplift and support you in times of need. And not even in times of need, they'll celebrate with you when it's time to, pop the champagne and celebrate some success in your life. But I want to take a second and thank everybody in the chat room. If you go to pbnradio.us, you'll be able to join the chat. And Ms. Brown, we see your smiley face. Thank you very much. I want to tell you a little bit about witchcraft and how I understand witchcraft, because witchcraft is actually an umbrella term. In today's day and age, you see it apply mostly to maybe Wicca or, British traditional paths, be it Alexandrian or Gardnerian. But witchcraft is around the world. You say the word witchcraft in the right circle anywhere around the world, and you're going to get a response. But the way that I see it is, the way that I have understood it is, I was raised Baptist Christian, and it was very much put together. It was very put on your button-down shirt and go to church on Sunday morning. To me, witchcraft was always an escape. And even from years and years of study, it has always been a certain amount of escapism in it. It was always, go off into the woods on a full moon's night and talk to the horned one for freedom. And there's always a promise of freedom, and there's always a promise of opulence almost in witchcraft. And so while some traditions revel in kind of the I guess I want to say the more ecstatic side of it, and witchcraft does have ecstatic aspects to it, absolutely, but we include ritual magic in our practices, which are a little more formulaic in nature. And together with those two sides of things, the formulaic and the ecstaticism, we can create change. And for us, it's more working with the heavens and working with the earth. And one reason why I really love Palo Moyombe is because it's very much earth-based. And so there's not as much of a focus on the heavens and the stars and the astrological aspects, and much more of a focus on the, get in there and get it done right.
And that, whenever, things got to get done, the best way to get them done is to get your hands in there and and to get to work. They don't call it spiritual work for nothing, because you know what, it ain't spiritual easy. And that's the thing about it is, when you get right down to it, like if you want to affect change is caused by work. Whether that is in the mundane or whether that is in the spirit, it doesn't matter. Change comes by work. So, take for example, somebody who is looking for like some sort of financial prosperity or what have you. Well, sitting on the damn sofa, waiting for a bag of money to magically drop out of the sky, chances are that's probably not going to happen. You probably have a better chance, I'm pretty sure you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning 10 times at the same speed as a hitman, than, doing the spiritual work to reflect the physical, and doing that work so those doors open up so you're able to go and increase the things that you need, so your finances get increased. So we have to one of the things when it comes to magic work and it comes to spiritual work, I'll tell everybody, you always have to have an eye in both worlds. One eye is always focused on the physical, and the other eye is focused on the spiritual. It is the old principle of the crossroads, the old principle of where the realm of the physical meets the realm of the spirit. Both of them are intermingled with one another. Both of them are melded together with one another. It's like if you take, two mirrors and you put them across from each other, one reflects into the other. And so is it when it comes to the realm of the spirit and the realm of the physical. So what is going on in one will reflect in the other, and vice versa. And that's how spiritual work actually. That's how it works. You do something in the spiritual, so it is reflected in the physical, and you do something in the physical, so it is reflected in the realm of the spirit. That's how that stuff works. So remember, there's an old saying that somebody used to say years ago, and that's, don't be so heavenly minded that you know earthly good. In other words, make sure that in everything that we do, we have balance. And that's one of the things that we always talk about is balance. And balance can be, that transcends, everything. That's the type of work that you do, whether it be good, whether it be evil, whether it be positive, whether it be negative, whatever you want to call it. Everything that we do requires, a balance. And it's important, to have the relationship that you need with your spirit, with your ancestors, to be able to see, feel, and know and understand what that balance is and where you need to be creating more of that. Because let me tell you something, you have the power to create that. And it is vitally important that you step into that and make sure that everything, because the thing is that when balance is taken away, what ends up happening is that chaos comes in and takes over, then, everybody's miserable. Well, we can't be having none of that. So, when you get down to it and you start understanding that, everything has a balance to it, you start to see things in a little bit of a different way. You start to look at things in such a way to where, like there are some folks that, they're like, oh, well, I only do good things, or I only do, something that they're only looking at one side of the coin. Remember this, each must have the other in order for both of them to survive.
Absolutely. And I want to backtrack a little bit, because there are going to be people who are listening to this who don't have a lot of experience in magical arts or occultism or whatever it is that you want to talk about. And so we got to backtrack and talk about what it is that we're, simplify a little bit, for those who don't have who came to listen to the show so they can learn about what magic is. What you're going to hear us talking about a lot is work and balance, because those two things are things that people don't talk about enough in these traditions and in these circles. Work. First off, work means work. You don't just cast a spell and your life changes. It's not like that. There are a lot of people who like to present it in that way. Oh, just do this spell and, something's going to change. Yeah, you're going to change something, but if you don't know what you're changing, then you can cause a lot more harm than you're going to cause good. And that's never going to be what you want to do. It takes years of practice and study to even understand the very beginnings of what this means. Yes, you can cast a spell and have something happen, and yes, you just did magic, and that's all great. But the bigger scheme of that is an evolution of the person. It's an evolution of how you see life and how you make decisions in your day-to-day life. When someone cuts you off in traffic, how do you respond? It's that simple. And these practices permeate all of those decisions on a daily basis, because we're looking at the bigger and wider picture. And once we get to the bigger and wider picture, we have to talk about balance. Now, I don't want to alienate anybody, because everyone practices magic differently. And that's another thing you're going to hear us harping on, is how different people practice magic, and even no way is good, bad, and different. No way is, better than the other. But we will say that if you're going to bless people, you're going to heal people, you're going to uncross people, you're going to do all these positive things, you're going to have to do some things that aren't so positive. At least that's the way we practice. You're going to have to do some things that aren't so positive, because balance is key. To maintain balance, to maintain your strength, to maintain your power, to maintain your courage, to maintain your path and your focus in these works, you're going to have to use both hands. It's just going to be necessary. And yes, you need to take your time with it. And yes, you need to pace it out, because you don't want to jump into those things right away. But you do want to eventually get there. That should be a milestone in your personal practice, to understand enough of how things work to work both sides of the coin, as Hudus and Moise was talking about earlier.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is that, understanding that, there are two sides of the coin, and we have to be on both of them. It's like I was taught whenever I was a child, is that, the responsibility of every single magic worker is to know and understand the balance of things. And the only way to understand that balance is to know how to work with both hands. Is to know how to work with each hand. But we're going to take a little commercial break, and we're going to be back here in just a second. So we hope you're enjoying everything so far.
Absolutely. We'll see you in a moment, guys.
The Raven's Rune is a spiritual resource center where you will find magical things for magical people. Handcrafted candles, incense, essential oil blends, and amazing hand-tooled custom leather goods. Check out their Wheel of the Year candle and incense packs. Each Sabbat has its own special blend, made during the correct moon phases by a practicing British traditional witch, to give your magic a boost. Using her knowledge and expertise, these products don't just smell good, they work. And you'll love the hand-tooled leather goods, Book of Shadows, journals, bracers, candle mats, and many other ritual tools. You'll revel in the magical feel of old-world craftsmanship. They also offer unique psychic readings. Liz is a talented sensitive. Her insightful readings are unique and come from many years of experience of working in the psychic and paranormal fields. Her compassion and empathy with clients make her readings truly meaningful. Let a consultation with this talented clairvoyant help you through the difficulties in your life and find the path to achieving your goals. So, if you're looking for unique and genuine magical wares and tools, be sure to check them out on Facebook at The Raven's Rune, or visit the website where you can see all their wonderful offerings. The Raven's Rune, www.theravensrune.ca.
Since 2014, the Pagan Business Network has been building resources by bringing together Pagan-owned and Pagan-friendly businesses. With multiple resources available, it doesn't matter if you're an artisan, musician, vendor, author, publishing company, blogger, podcaster, event planner, or any other organization. We have the resources here to help you succeed. Becoming a member is easy and affordable, even for the smallest of budgets. With your membership, you will get Business Spotlight, which is an article written in an interview style, complete with details and photos. Social media sharing through the Pagan Business Network. A blog roll. A membership card for discounts at participating businesses. You'll also get discounts on tickets to all Pagan Business Network events, and so much more. You can check us out at paganbusinessnetwork.com for more information.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Magic in the Raw. I am Sten Elias.
And I am Hoodoo Sam Moise. And together we are Crescent City Conjure.
And we up in here talking about magic. So if you just tuned in, that is exactly what we're speaking about.
So one of the things that we wanted to also, because this is an introductory show on PBN, and some folks may know who we are, some folks may not. We wanted to also talk a little bit about Crescent City Conjure and what that is, what that means, what the mission of it is, and what we're doing. So, Sten Elias, if you were to describe Crescent City Conjure, how would you describe it to somebody?
Okay, I think it's necessary to start off with a little backstory, all right? Because Crescent City Conjure didn't just pop out of nowhere. Hoodoo Sim Moise and I have been practicing for a very long time. I got about 20 years under my belt, and he's got about 35. And we were your archetypical, magicians, witches, whatever, locked in a musty room, mixing together some stuff to cause change. Really, like we were those guys, and we still very much are. So after meeting, and especially because he's my partner, and it takes a long time to find someone that you really, really love and that you really want to, be in life with. And so, especially when you do something fringe like magic, witchcraft, voodoo, all these things, that can make it doubly difficult. And so when we met each other, I looked at him and he looked at me, and we were like, hell yeah. So we just got straight to work. And we even before Crescent City Conjure, we talked about, you don't want to exchange too many secrets, because some things are, initiation bound. You don't want to talk about, the specifics of traditions, because some of those things are inner workings of those traditions. And so we don't talk about those things amongst ourselves, but we do talk about the magics that we've learned, in our personal past. And we've combined those workings with each other. We've talked about the stars. We've talked about the blood. We've talked about the up and the down, the left and the rights of magic, and we're continually learning on a daily basis. We are reading as much as we can get our hands on. We are talking to the experts. We are doing what we got to do. We are the experts, but we aren't the only ones, and we're talking to all of them. As many as we can get our hands on, pin them down, and talk to them. So Crescent City Conjure is that baby. It's what was birthed from our love for each other, our love for our craft. And everything that we offer, all the products that we offer, are a reflection of the work that we've done together in exploring how we come together to express our magical practice. And it is an art. It's an art. In every product, you can see the art in it. And even the art is a reflection of the science. It's a reflection of, the spirit. We do certain rites and rituals that are appropriate to the stars and the moon, but it's also very appropriate to the spirit. So there's a lot of prayers and a lot of incantations that go on before we even put the roots in the wax to create the candle, or create the oil, or create the mojo hand, or create the poppet, or create the charm, or create the talisman. And so everything that we do is a reflection of roots that go very deep into our own personal practices, separately and together.
So Crescent City Conjure is about doing something that affects change in people. People are always looking for things, that can help, improve or to, create change. And both of us, have been, we've, had clients for years and years, and, worked for people and all that stuff, and decided to, to come together to, propel this forward. When it gets down to it, what we strive to do is to make sure that we have and make the best, authentic magical products that that can be made. And those products, what makes them the best is that they facilitate change, they create change. If for example, somebody says, "Oh, I need, I'm looking for some, some luck."
You ain't getting no snake oil.
Right? You ain't getting no snake oil up in here. But they be looking for, like, for example, they want their luck to change, or, they getting ready to go to the casino or something like that. Can I get some fast luck soap or some fast luck oil? They want something, something like that. And so, okay, fine. We make that and we give it to them. But the best part of all that is that, the stories that we get when they use the product, and then they start telling us about what happened with that. And Senator Live, somebody had just come to you that had some fast luck soap that just told us to share it.
Absolutely. We have a friend who's out of town. I believe she's in Florida, and she's just a friend of ours. She thinks that we're cool. We think that she's cool, and so we're friends. And so she, knows that we do what we do. Anyone who knows us knows that. I mean, that's kind of a prerequisite to knowing us. But she asked for some luck soap, because we make a soap that has all the appropriate ingredients and all the appropriate ceremonies over it too, so that before you even leave your house, you can wash it on you. You can wash the luck on you. And so, we gave her that soap, and she actually, it was a gift for another friend of hers, and she reported back to us as we asked, because we need to know. We need to, check that our stuff is working and working appropriately. And so she said, yeah, I took the friend that she got it for, he took the bath, and he's been washing with it on a daily basis, and he's been experiencing luck in multiple facets of his life. In the casino, A, and then with the ladies, B. So this man is quite happy right now with his Crescent City Conjurer Fast Luck soap.
But it's those stories that that come back to us, that really that is what is absolutely worth it for us. Elias told you a story. I'm going to tell you another one. We had this lady, very nice lady, and I'll give you her first name is Miss Barbara. That's what we called her, Miss Barbara. She came to us because she was wanting love in her life. Now we're talking about like actual love, not the follow me or the domination or the obsession or the lust, but she was wanting something real and lasting. So we said okay, so we gave her here's a couple of things, like because there's a particular candle that we make, a particular oil that we make, and a particular soap that we make. So we said, get these products, here's what you do, and then let us know what happens. We'll just, sit back and enjoy the show. So, she got the stuff from us and, did what we told her to do. And she said, and 3 days go by, and then all of a sudden she's getting all these gentlemen callers. She's getting all this attention.
Gentleman caller, are you there?
Yeah, she's getting all this attention from these guys, and she was like, I don't know what happened, but like they're, she's like, all these men's trying to bark up my tree, she said, and I said, oh, okay. She said, well, but they weren't the right ones, but in the middle of them there was another man who came, and this man that. He started talking to me, and I was talking to him, and we became very interested in one another. And she began to explain how they began having conversations with one another, and then one thing led to another, and they started dating. And she about 2 months afterwards, had said that this man had literally swept her off her feet, and she was absolutely ecstatic, thankful, grateful, for everything, that had been done, because the thing that she was looking for found its way to her. And why did it do that? A couple of things. Was it the product that we make? Absolutely. But was that the only thing? No. That wasn't the only thing.
She had to be ready for that change in her own life. Now, if you are going to use magic and you want to usher in this wave of change, you can view it, you can see it as a wave. A wave of water, a tsunami that's coming your direction. If you got the walls up, you're not going to receive that change. You have to drop the walls first before that change can wash through and wash over you. So, and she was ready for that. And she had those walls down, and so she received that blessing, because, there are people who will, dabble in this and expect change who just aren't ready for it. And so there's a level of honesty that has to happen beforehand. Are you ready for it or are you not? Can you handle it or can you not? Before we go on, I want to once again point people in the direction of pbnradio.us if you want to join in the chat. And another reason why I wanted to mention the chat is because this is our preview. Not preview. This is our initial. This is our first show, and so we want to make sure that we're giving information that you can use. And so, if you have any questions or you want us to talk about anything that relates to magic, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll try to answer your question. But I want to bring that all back around again. If anyone who is listening to this show because they want to know what magic is, what the people who are practicing it are doing, who similarly either have a question for you, what would you say about that to someone who's brand new to these practices and wants to find a certain direction for themselves?
What I would suggest with anybody who has that question, again, you're going to hear me harp on this a lot, and I always suggest the first thing is to learn how to give service to your ancestors. Learn how to begin to listen to your ancestors, to hear them, to see, where that tug is. I would also ask the individual, what is it that they're drawn to? What type of work is it that they feel, a kindred spirit with, so to speak. But always, before anything else, begin with your ancestors. Because remember, before you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye, your ancestors were already doing this work. And so, it will only, serve to, propel you forward in your own potential to see what your ancestors have to say and to lean on the wisdom that they have. And that is something that is absolutely, underutilized. Is that you have to remember that those that have come before you, your ancestors who have come before you, have a wisdom that you don't. And they're looking to share it with you. They are looking to give it to you. Why not tap into that wisdom? Why not take what is there and use it for your own growth? Because that's what they want for you as well. I would also tell the individual that, once you have this established and you have this, this drawing to, whichever type of work you're looking for, to get involved in, to begin to ask some questions. Find somebody who is reputable, right?
Because there are a lot of people who you can find online. You can find them, in shops. You can find them everywhere who will tell you this, that, and the other. And so the way that you check that, checks and balance, is to make sure that they've done something. And not just, they work at a shop. That's not, they have to pass the resume test like everybody else. What is on their resume and why? Because if you're looking for someone that's real and you're looking for someone that can give you some real information, especially if you're new to all of this, it's easy to be led astray. And I've been led astray before, in a certain way. And so, it's all about due diligence. You want to do your due diligence because a good teacher is going to affect your life for the rest of your life. They're going to be a huge influence in your magical journey and your spiritual path for the rest of your life. And you really have to consider, how is that person going to shape and mold you? How is this person's influence going to affect you in the long run? You have to like this person. And some people will tell you that you don't have to like this person. And I will say that further down the road, once you know what you're talking about, you don't have to like the person because you know what they're telling you is truth or lies or whatever, you get it. And they could be a straight up asshole. And as long as they're giving you the information that you need, then you may be okay with that. You may be, or you may not. It's up to you. But in the beginning, I think it's important that you have an affection for the person, something that they're saying, something that they're doing, you're attracted to, because your spirit won't lie. All information that's given to you may or may not be the truth. You don't know in the beginning. You're just trusting. But your spirit won't lie. And when your spirit says it's a green light, it's a green light. And so that's a very important first step on the path.
And I could not agree with that sentiment any more than I already do. It is absolutely, absolutely paramount. Always be on the lookout for, what they used to call the snake oil salesman. They trying to sell you some foolishness. But, we don't have time for none of that. But we're going to take a little break, and we're going to be right back. Again, thank y'all for tuning in, and hang on to your seats because we're coming right back.
Thank you very much. See you in a moment.
I'm going to share with you a company founded on passion. A passion dreamed into existence by two lightworkers to share the gift of holistic healing with the world. Acting on the belief that infusing ritualistic components like the use of crystals and moon cycles, Reiki and more, enhances the quality and energetic profile of their alchemic creations and their spiritual workings. A passion for the rare and unique that touches all they create and do. What is this wonder-filled place, you ask? It's the altruistic apothecary, a place of magical items like rune sets, god and goddess statues, amulets and talismans, incense, bombs, bath salts, and more. A place of spiritual guidance and healing from an intuitive medicine woman, holistic health practitioner, and Reiki master, offering spiritual medium readings, rune readings, healing sessions, and more. It's there. They're ready. The door is open. All you have to do is ask, and they will share with you all the secrets they possess to help you on your path. Find them on Facebook or on their website, www.altruisticapothecary.com, ALTRUISTICAPOTHECARY.com. Wonder awaits you. Are you ready to have some fun? Then come and check out Raven's Shadow Crafts, home of the Poppet with a Pocket. These unique handmade poppets come ready to go, pre-stuffed with herbs and in colors designed for your intent. They also have a pocket on the back to add any herb, stone, or personal item you want to make this poppet complete. Just charge and it's ready to go. Other handmade items are gree-gree bags, goddess symbols, mini skull magnets, and more. So check them out on Facebook at Raven's Shadow Crafts. Park your broom and stay a spell. That's www.facebook.com/Raven's Shadow Crafts. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to Crescent City Conjure, Magic and the Raw. Now, we don't want to leave you without a little something. And so we're going to do a reading for you guys. We're going to pull just one card out of our tarot deck, because both of us are readers. You can catch us at Psychics for Hire or King. Want to read them from us, or just message us directly on our Facebook walls. But we do this, and we do this for real. So we're going to pull a card for you guys, and we're going to give you a general reading, both of us. We've done we like to play around with doing readings together, because both of us have very different ideas about the cards, and so both of our perspectives can be useful. So let me go ahead and shuffle these cards real quick, and we'll pull one, and we'll get started.
Everybody's always, we're always looking for, whatever help or insight that we can get, because it's always good to know what's coming, and so we try to help folks out, with that as well.
All right, so what we got was the Knight of Swords, and, what we found out is that the tarot will apply to some people. So if you're listening, what you should know is that the Knight of Swords is a middle-aged, older male. He has dark hair. He has a very authoritative personality. He rushes in where others fear to tread. He's very intelligent in the way that he carries himself. The card is a knight riding a white horse through a windy storm, and that's important to know these images, because that's the feeling that you get when you're upon this person. This card is talking about new ideas. Swords is always a rushing in. Swords is always going to be a change of thought, a change of how you think about things, and that's important, especially now. I don't know why, but a lot of people are going through major changes in their lives right now. We've heard it from a lot of different people, and something's rushing in right now. It's very important to be focused on these changes that are coming.
it's also very important to, in everything that you do, always make sure that you are keeping a watchful eye. And, not only a watchful eye in this, but also, a listening ear. In this reading, I would also strongly suggest that you be very open to communication and different styles of communication, probably something that you're not presently used to, because if you are able to adapt to a change in communication, then that's only going to benefit you to get through what could potentially be a few bumps in the road. And at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're progressing. That's what everybody's goal is, or I dare say should be. So sometimes what we're used to is not what may be basically upon us or in our face or present right now, but it's about adapting. And the reason why you're adapting is you're adapting to overcome. So, and I would also say in this reading, when I was speaking on communication, especially in the workplace, because if you can adapt to a change in communication in the workplace, chances are that there is a door of opportunity that's going to open up. Again, initially it's bumpy, but at the end of the day, what you're going to end up with is an opportunity that you did not have before.
Now, there are two aspects to there are more than two. There are a million different aspects to every card, but it can be summed up in two different ways. There's a positive reaction, and then there's a negative reaction. In this card, the positive reaction will be to be attacked. When new ideas are sent or there's change to contend, that's part of the same card. Okay. When the new ideas rush in, you have to decide if you're ready for them and you want to go along with that, and you want to be adaptable and you want to change along with the changing winds, or if you're going to be swept away with the changing winds. Now, for some people, they're going to be able to be adaptable and they're going to be able to move forward with the way things are going, and some people are going to be so rigid in the way that they are that they're going to be knocked over like a tornado. And you have to decide which direction you want to go in. And this person, as represented by the Knight of Swords, could definitely be an authority figure. And so for you, maybe it could be a boss, it could be someone who is a manager, someone who you're under, who is making major changes. It could be a lover. It could be someone who has new ideas about the way the relationship should go. And then you have to make two decisions. Either you're going to adapt to it and you're going to move in that direction, or you're going to be rigid in your own beliefs. And that's not always a bad thing. Standing your ground is a good thing sometimes, but you have to decide which way this wind is going to blow and if you're going to go with it or if you're going to stand against it.
So we would encourage everybody, we would encourage you to just pay attention to, what's going on around you. Here's the thing, is that, as they say, the devil is in the details. And, that saying is very, very apropos, and I'll tell you why. The reason for that is because there are always signs and omens that's going on most of the time right in front of our face, but, a lot of times we can't see the forest or the trees. So I would say pay attention to everything that's going on around you and look for those, those tokens of change. Look for those little signs and omens. And if you look for them, you're going to find them. You're going to see what's going on. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you the knowledge to prepare for what's coming. That's going to give you the opportunity to decide, A, what you want to do, B, what is the most strategic thing to do, and C, what is it that is going to provoke the best and the most, the most opportunity in the midst of that change. So the card that we pulled, we hope that, that little, that little reading was something that, is applicable or at least gave you some edification. So we wanted to kind of move a little bit into just some of the things that we're going to be talking about. And again, I can't say it enough. You're going to hear us talking about the ancestors a lot. You're going to hear us talk about working magic and working the roots. We're going to talk about things like cleansing, and we're going to talk about things like prosperity, and we're going to talk about how to lay a trick on somebody. I mean, because again, you have to work with both hands. The end. That's just how it works. When it comes down to balance is both sides of the coin. Balance is both hands. So we'll be talking about laying tricks and such, and we'll be talking about love and prosperity, and we'll be talking about opening up the crossroads, opening up opportunities. We're going to be talking about all of these things, because if we can reach folks and we can facilitate change and growth in people, then that means that we're doing our job. And that is exactly, what it is that we strive to do.
Thank you very much, Bernie. Thank you. We appreciate that. We work hard to try to make sure the show is good on the chat room. But along with that, we'll be listening to feedback. Not just on the PBN radio website, but in our personal pages, and we'll be talking to people about what they want to hear and what we think is going to be good for the majority, things that are going to hopefully push your practice forward and give you ideas and directions to go. And it's interesting because in a public setting like this, you don't really know who's who. You don't really know who's done what, or why, or what they're really looking for. And so we have to keep an ear out to everybody to see, what is going to be a good topic to talk about. We've done a lot of videos. If you want to check us out on YouTube, our channel, of course, everything is Crescent City Conjure. But our channel has videos, and so I think it would be good for us to follow that format. We can talk a little bit more about things that we've talked about in the videos, because they're really short. They're like 5 minutes each. And what you should know, things that you should focus on, protection. A lot of people don't like protection when it comes to magic. A lot of people don't start out with protection work because protection work is not immediate. They don't get the immediate results, as if you did a money spell and then you see a sudden boost in your finances. It's not an immediate, gratification, but protection is probably the most important magical work that you could do.
Protection and cleansing.
Protection and cleansing are probably two of the most important, not probably, they are. They are the most important things that you can do beyond the trying to obtain things. And meditation. I cannot stress meditation enough. People want to light candles and want to work with the roots and want to, talk to this spirit, and that is great. But you have to start off with working on yourself. You have to work on yourself. You have to work on the spirits that are closest to you, which are your ancestors, and you have to have a strong foundation on which to stand before you can cause true and lasting change within your life. Because as you progress within this art, you're going to meet some spirits, be they incarnate or not. You're going to meet some spirits who may not be, to your best interest, who may not have your best interest at heart, and if you want to reach any level of proficiency, you're going to have to work in both worlds and use both hands, and that does not come without consequences on either side, and you have to be ready for those consequences via cleansing and protection.
So again, we wanted to thank everybody, and thank you for listening. We hope that you got something out of this. Again, this is Hoodoo Sen Moise and Sen Elias of Crescent City Conjure. You can find us at www.crescentcityconjure.com. You can find us on YouTube under the Crescent City Conjure channel. You can find us on Facebook under Crescent City Conjure, or you can go to Sen Elias, that's Elias, or you can go to Hoodoo Sen Moise. And we just wanted to say thank you all.
Thank you.
And get ready, because we're going to be throwing down here at Crescent City Conjure Magic in the Raw. We hope y'all have a good evening, and many blessings to you, okay?
Many blessings to you.